Hi everyone. It's the 28th of March here today, and I'm wondering if many of you are having the experience of feeling as though you are really in the midst of nowhere, but being okay with it. This being on the bridge to nowhere, you're in this passageway, this portal, this movement, this transition, and yet not quite knowing maybe who you are or what you think or how you feel or where you are going, but possibly and likely to be sitting in a place of deep, deep trust that everything is working out. And it is. And it is. And so that will be particularly applying to those of you who are working in, or the aspect of you that is in the divine feminine energy. The divine masculine energy, that energy that sits within each of us, or that part of the collective, they are really in this viewpoint of fathoming out. So this idea of who they are and what is their next move, this finding completion in the plan in a way. So they are really in this motion, I want to say, of rebuilding the new, and what has to happen for that. So these are notes that came through from yesterday. For me personally, I have taken some time because I have been in that space of knowing that big things are going on, and really, to be honest, not being too concerned about them, not having any worries about what is going on or what I may or may not need to know. I've been in a really soft place of surrender and of allowing and of trusting that this is all perfect. So if you haven't been in that place, I really encourage you to drop into that place, that space, that within yourself, you just come to this handing it over, to surrendering it to the divine, and to be in a place of knowing and trusting that everything is working out for you and with you, not against you, not against you. So these notes from yesterday, we are in the place of ending, completion, and beginning for each of us, for you, for me, for Mother Earth. So you may be in this energy today, if you are in the energy of the 27th, but we know that these things don't start and finish on the dot. So in many ways, it is that we are holding space here. We are holding space for the old to close out and for the new to begin. And that is in a very powerful, aligned, and higher aspect. And this is for everyone. So those of you who are in this place, who are listening to this information, this is likely to be your viewpoint, your perspective, your space, that you are in this, on the bridge to nowhere, in this knowing that all is well, that it's all unfolding, and really holding space from your heart so that your body is in this beautiful alignment at a higher frequency, and that can impact on those around you. So holding space for the old to close out and the new to arise, as though on a suspension bridge between two worlds, not worried and yet in the unknown, seeing movement from a distance, yet a little undefinable and indescribable, like a shimmering haze that you can see that is the new, but it's not yet come into form. This excited anticipation many of you are likely to be feeling of what is to come. And that's a really genuine and beautiful place to sit in the energy of that, this excitement and anticipation of what is to come. But right now, in the unknown, and it may be that you are in this place of having a slightly surreal observation point, totally detached from the world, in surrender, and with very few touchstones or anchor points. It's a really interesting place to be in. It is that place where we've had this dimensional shift, right? And I spoke about this a while ago, that about how I had that experience, and Gaia said to me, that is so that you know what the experience will be when you have a dimensional shift. And it is that place of being detached, and a place of feeling maybe like you're in a Salvador Dali painting, but there's that very slightly surreal, slightly detached, slightly observational, slightly curious, definitely very, I want to say, at peace with it, sitting with ease in the heart, knowing that all is well, and knowing that all is well in the known and the unknown. So many points also in the body, of course. You'll remember, if you're here now listening to this and you haven't watched a Human 2.0, which was recorded, I think, on the 21st, and it's on the channel here, that was this process of what the body is going through in its upgrades and its many physical components and aspects, from all of the psychic upgrading to the physical upgrading, to from the brain, the heart, the the fluids, the DNA, all of the components of the body. And so we are going to be in the experience of this a little bit at a time, and maybe a whole lot at a time as well, when this wave comes through, whenever this big wave comes through. This finessing of the self, this is what we're in now, this is what we are experiencing now, all of humanity, this slightly detached observational mode of who I am and where I am going and who I am becoming, but in a very assured and reassured way. So this is occurring through your higher self, this aspect of you that is now endeavoring to fit into the physical vessel, and has been over this last little while, but more and more integrated, your higher self coming into that integrated physicality, along with, as we've spoken about for a while now, these multi-dimensional aspects through space and time, all of the beings that you have incarnated as, or had an experience of soul as, coming in to be this newer, upgraded version of you. And really, I want to say that shows up to me as coming into the observation through the breath of the Holy Divine Child, through the integrated aspect of you in your solar plexus of the Holy Divine Child. So the involution, this is another aspect that is showing up very strongly, as though we are turning ourselves inside out. I was reminded about how when I taught in Japan, some of the students were making the most phenomenal origami, and they showed me, they made all of these components that linked in together and created a ring, and the ring could be turned inside out. And so it's very complex and amazing, but that is what I'm being shown. That is what is happening for us. We are being involuted. We are turning inside out. And this is this aspect of our rebirth. So you could see it. This might be an easier way to think about. If you think about a team of synchronistic, what is it called? Synchronized swimming. If you think of a synchronized swimming team, they're very acrobatic. They are often linked in some parts of their body. They hold a different position in the team, a different perspective because they might be looking at a different place, but they are all linked together and they have particular moves. They're turning inside out. So this is like the acrobat in the water with a unique perspective. That is what everybody is having. It's just a slightly unique perspective. As we release or withdraw from the old, for the new to be birthed, for it to be ejected or squeezed, in this final and yet unique purification. This may be your experience at the moment, like a point or a part in the position of that synchronized swimming team, as part of maybe their signature move. That's the uniqueness of this placement, is that it may be just unique to you, or just unique to you and your group or your family or your templated group that's come to change a particular aspect of the world. The slightly different, nuanced perspective. This is the subtlety of what we are experiencing at the moment. So your very own note or key or rhythm or movement being held and then released, ready for the new. This never been seen or never been done in the history of the omniverse, coming into our reality now. So there will be, and there may be, many who are still a little bit stuck in the old, and this is how the masculine aspect of us is showing up, or the masculine aspect of the world, that they are just a little bit stuck in the old paradigm. Remember, each of us has different roles to play. So they may be a little bit stuck in the old paradigm, trying to fit a new way in an old pattern and finding that it doesn't quite work. So this is what I've been shown about the masculine aspect of us in the world, or the masculine beings in our world, that this is their experience at the moment. This trying to find a new way in an old pattern and it not quite feeling right or fitting correctly. So they're in this continuous seeking of this new or unique perspective, but not quite finding it or articulating it, and hence never quite feeling like they belong. So the masculine are having this experience at the moment of not quite feeling like they belong anywhere anymore. And it showed up to me a little bit like them being a circle in an oval, or an oval in a circle, kind of fit but not really. Trying to break through the unseen, the boundaries. And I want to say they feel them and they see them, yet they don't quite yet know them. It's so finessed what they are experiencing. So they are subtly held and nuanced, and they're not quite visible nor spoken. And the analogy I got shown was like the fly being caught just in one strand of the spider's web, not the entire web, just in one strand. So they can move and fly, but they can't escape. And so this was what I was given. They were saying to themselves, I know I must break this, but I'm unsure as to how. So they fly around, they test the strand until some unknown aspect enables them to break free entirely. So this applies to the fly and to the divine masculine. So this may come from the historical, from the ancient, from the old bindings and expectations, but it's only when one breaks free that the level of emancipation is experienced, to know that indeed you were trapped. So this is the experience of the masculine at the moment. So they don't quite know that actually they still are trapped and that they need to break out, but they will. So hence, this is the experience of some of the masculines, some specific masculines that I've tuned into, is that they're dealing with these boxes, these implants, these traps, these webs that are not visible to them. They're not visible to them. They're within their field or within their body. And so until the commonplace, the known, becomes unsatisfying and unfulfilling, they aren't going to see this. So this is the current experience of the divine masculine. All their lives, they have been seeking this, what it is that they've got. What it is that they've got is what they have been seeking all of their lives. And so now they have come to this recognition of realizing that they have found it, and yet it does not fulfill. Like the oval and the circle, or the circle and the oval. They did not come to fit in. The divine masculine did not come to fit in, but to break out, to burst open, to redefine, to recreate, and to rebuild the new. So this is what they are in the process of. But now, as the veils lift, they can see, feel, and breathe differently. So all of the masculines, or the masculine aspects of us, are likely to be having some kind of experience like this. And so it is that we trust that we are on the bridge to nowhere, going somewhere, receiving something for the new, for the higher, for the better, and that it's on track, and that we're also breaking out to rebuild the new. So I will leave you with that to ponder and consider. Where does that sit for you? Where are the little nuances of the things that come through from, maybe from your familial lines, maybe from the matriarchal side or the patriarchal side, maybe from the impatterning in your own family, maybe from the way in which you've been defined and redefined in your culture or in your community, and just to feel and ask to be shown. It's very, very subtle and tiny, and each will have their own nuanced perspective. So just invite you to sit with that in your own contemplation and ask to be shown. So I send you so much love in these incredible days. I mean, if you consider what I've just spoken to you about, that we're at that level, there's these very, very, very fine releases, because we're right on the edges of this. We're having these dimensional shifts, and we're right on the edges of being in preparation for receiving the big one. So it's at that point, of course, that we will have these DNA reconnections, that we will move into this higher way of being. And I'll be around to speak more about, I want to speak about colour and the impact of the colour in our world. So keep a lookout for that video, which I'll do in the next day or so. All right, much love. Take care. Be in connection with nature. Send your blessings to Gaia. She sends them to you. Much love from her heart.